Aerodo. It's called Aerodo. And this product, I went to a conference. It was the pitch thing that they had with Fearless Fun. I went to that. It probably was a year or two ago, and it was a lady there that had this product called Aerodo. You can follow her on Instagram. Aerodo is what I'm talking about. And this one is a spearmint one. And with this, it is like, do you know those little squishy things that we would have like at work? That was like stress balls or whatnot. Well, this is kind of like that. And you just squish it like that, but it smells like spearmint. The one I have, it's like she has a couple of different ones that smell really good, but I use these sometimes. It's really good to just kind of fumble with your hands. I don't know if people like talk with their hands or, it's just a good stress reliever, just like the stress balls. It's Black owned. Again, please go find her on Instagram. She's even on Facebook, I think. And the name of the product is Aerodo. And again, it's like Play-Doh. You see it? Y'all see it? It's like Play-Doh, but it has this aromatherapy in it. I love it. And so it's different flavors. Mine is spearmint. And it's a pretty big jar of it. And sometimes I'll set mine in the fridge a little bit just to make it a little bit cooler. And it's not sticky. It's not sticky or anything. You can just kind of move it around. And as it warms up in your hand, it gets a little bit more smoother because sometimes when it sits, it will kind of get a little stiff. But all you have to do is just go in and just grab your some out like that and just work it through your fingers. It's like I was saying, you just grab a little bit and work it through your fingers like that. Good stress reliever. If you have anxiety, this is really good to use too. Some kids would use like fidget things, but this is a good fidgeter for adults and kids. Again, the name of it is Aerodo. And I'll probably bring it up again, this product up again. Aerodo. Just wanting to go over a few little products. So again, she's on Instagram. And also, I got a lot of questions about my hair last time, so I'm gonna push another product. I use the Dukes, and you can find her on Instagram as well, social media. Crazy Sexy Curl is what I use on my hair. And so after I shampoo it, I put this on, and then I also use an Old Faithful. What y'all know about this? What y'all know? I use the Old Faithful just to give it a little bit of shine. So as I'm taking my hands through my hair, I would just put like a little bead of oil in my hand while it's wet and just kind of go through it. And then I will follow up with this product, the Crazy Sexy Curl. Make sure it's the one, the honey setting foam. Now she has two, but this is the one that I use. I use this one when I want it to be firm and last a little bit longer. And she also has a gel that does it too. It's called B Girl. And with the gel, B Girl, it's really good too for a good wash and go, a good set. Curl. Sometimes when I just want to put some rods in my hair, I'll use this along with the foam. And it usually does a great job. Thank you all so much for the love. Thank you for all the hearts. It's making me feel good. So, how was everybody's week? I hope everybody had a good week. I had a busy week, but here we are on Sunday. Now, last time we talked, I asked you guys to come up with, what was it, 3 things? 3 things to commit to trying to accomplish this week. I hope you were able to do that. I hope you were able to accomplish those goals for yourself this week. I'll share one of mine with you. One of mine was to make sure that I was working out every day. And I did that. I have now worked myself up to a good steady pace when I'm running. I'm so proud of myself that I can do a mile. Yay me. And, that's a huge accomplishment for me. And I just plan to try to keep going, building on it. I'm not trying to run a marathon yet, but I'm just going to keep building on that right there and just keep moving. So I hope you guys were able to accomplish some things this week as well. That was one of the challenges that I told you about doing last week. So I know some of you have been strolling online and you see the different things online that's talking about Ananda Lewis. Do you remember Ananda Lewis? Ananda Lewis is the VJ that used to be on MTV. I remember her on Teen Summit as well. Many of us probably remember her on Teen Summit. But she was like a VJ. She also was one of the hosts on Teen Summit. Real pretty, and just real pretty hair and everything. You can put the hashtags tags in there in the comments for me too, baby girl. That's my daughter. She's trying to help me out. She's my marketer. She's trying to help me. I appreciate her. But back to about Ananda Lewis. So Ananda Lewis, the VJ, that used to be on MTV, BET personality too. I think she was also BET Teen Summer in the 90s. She recently came out and spoke about having stage 4 cancer. From what I have read, seen online about her, she was diagnosed with cancer. She found a lump in her breast 6 years ago. From what I understand, she found a lump in her breast. She did have a history of breast cancer in her family. I think she said that her mother, I think her sister as well. So she did have some family members that had breast cancer. But something that I learned, that I want to pass on to you is it doesn't, just because you don't have anyone in your family that's ever had breast cancer, been diagnosed, that does not like decrease your chances of getting breast cancer. I didn't know that. I just learned that as I was doing this little bit of research. So that is a nugget that you need to hold on to. Being that it's October and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I hope everyone has got their tatas checked. I actually got mine mammogram done on Wednesday. But she found this lump in her breast 6 years ago. And she decided to make a holistic approach to it. She decided to try to manage it herself with eating clean, exercising, eliminating a lot of stress out of her life, just being very careful. And her friends were saying in this interview that she was on, they were talking about how she would even come out and like have her own like lunch if they went out. She was just really, really strategic and on it, trying to make sure that she was monitoring her health. And she said she felt fine. She felt fine for the most part, she said. And then she was going and getting different treatments, like holistic stuff. So I'm assuming like vitamin treatments and things like that. That's what I'm assuming that she was getting. And so she was getting that. And then she said COVID hit. And when COVID hit, she was not able to continue to go and do the things that she was doing to help her manage, as she thought she was managing that diagnosis. And the lump was still growing at this time as well. So COVID hit, she wasn't able to try to keep that routine up. She was, when she was diagnosed, they did talk to her about having a double mastectomy. And she was like, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. I don't want to do it. And so here we are now. And she found out she's now stage 4. What do you guys think about that? I read a lot of comments. Some of them were very harsh, but I read a lot of comments where people were making comments of, why would you do that to yourself? That was like suicide. That was like, a not good choice. Why would you think that you can use herbs and stuff to heal your body? It was a lot of mixed feelings, a lot of mixed things that were being said about it. So I just wonder, you could drop in the comments, what were your thoughts around that? That's a big, huge decision. And everybody, has to make their own choice, right? We all have the right to self determination. As a social worker, as a licensed social worker, a clinician, that's something that we go by. We encourage our patients to have self-determination. And if you're wondering what does that mean, that means it allows a person to control his or her own life. You have a right. You have a right to do that, to make the choices about your lives that you feel comfortable with. Having a say on how her life is going, how your life is, that is self-determination. So that she reserved that right. So it's not like she was doing anything illegal. It's not like she was doing anything crazy, but that was her choice. As I said before, her mom had it, and I think she said her cousin had it, and they did undergo treatment. They went on treatment, and they're actually breast cancer survivors. And so I think that she feels, as she was expressing this, she kind of feels like she maybe, if she could take it back, I think she feels like she would take it back and would have gone ahead and had this aggressive treatment. Hindsight 20, hindsight 2020. We just don't know. So now here she is, um, trying to navigate this this diagnosis and her being at stage 4. And when she was talking about it, she like let it roll off her tongue, like you're saying, oh, I had COVID 2 weeks ago. It was like just randomly, it was just like casually. And her friends was like, wait, we're not just gonna let you just casually say it like that. Let's kind of, they kind of wanted to sit in that to try to process it, to see what she was feeling, how she was feeling. And that is something to kind of take in. But a defense mechanism that we have is we will suppress, we will be in denial. We'll do whatever to protect us from feeling those real raw feelings sometimes, especially when it's something traumatic or something that's very, very difficult for us to process. Our bodies automatically do that and put up that defense mechanism. So, her thought process was, I'm going to get the toxins out of my body. I'm going to detox my body. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to do all the things. I think she said she was even going and getting ultrasounds, but she could monitor the size of the tumor in her breast. She was doing all the things, but then things came to a halt because, bam, COVID happened. And so that limited her ability to continue getting these treatments and taking care of her body. And so her healing journey right now is making sure she's getting enough sleep, making sure she's taking care of herself, taking care of everything. From my understanding, she does have a son. It's just a lot. It is a lot. I don't know, I don't, if something like that happened, I feel like I would want aggressive treatment. I feel like I would want aggressive treatment. I would want to, take care of myself the best way I could in order to help fight it to the best of my ability. But again, that's my choice. Everybody has a choice. And it makes me segue into, just like us talking about our bodies as women, how politically they have made decisions about what we do about our bodies. And so just think, if someone was governing how we handle, having a diagnosis of breast cancer. What if that happened? Will we get to that point at some point, that if you don't want to have treatment, if you just don't want to go through all of that and you want to naturally, handle it the best way you can, will you be prosecuted for that? Will you be, held accountable for that? Those are some things to kind of think about, when we think about how things, the direction that things are going in now. So I just, I want to talk about it just to kind of get some ideas and some thoughts of what you guys thought about it in case you ran across it, because that was something that was being discussed a lot this week. And she's been on a lot of platforms here recently discussing it and talking about it. And I hope that, and I think that's probably also her desire too, is to try to educate someone, to try to let people know, what her choices were, that she was in clear, sound judgment when she made these choices. And now she's kind of living with the remnants of what that choice and decision was. And that was to not have the aggressive treatment. So, of course, like she said, when she went back, getting the double mastectomy was off the table. It was off the table because she was now in a stage 4. Preventive care is the best care. That's catching things early is the best. But you know what? There are little setbacks. There are little things there that do block some of us from getting and doing what we need to take care of our bodies. Let's be all the way real. Insurance. Everybody doesn't have insurance. Everyone doesn't have insurance. It's very expensive to get your mammograms. Some people have white coat anxiety. What that is, I'm talking about, it's like they're afraid of doctors or hospitals or doctors' offices. And we do have the good work of a lot of people that have these mammogram mobiles that are out, and they're, offering these free mammograms, which is great. But it's only so many people you can catch with that. But we do have that situation where, a lot of us people out here do not have insurance to be able to go and get mammograms. And Here's the other parts of that. You may go and get a mammogram. Your provider may see something, ask you to come back and get a mammogram. And guess what? Sometimes your insurance don't pay for that. So what do? Some people will opt not to go because they don't want to get that bill. So it's just a lot of things, that before we pass judgment, it's just a lot of things that a lot of people take under consideration when they're making these choices. And Ananda Lewis, when she was talking about it on this in this segment that I was watching, she talked about how her money started to run out as well because she was having to pay for a holistic care and treatment herself. The insurance doesn't cover that. Insurance is not going to cover any holistic treatment. So she was having to pay for these things herself, which became very expensive. Come on, she was getting ultrasounds. She was having to eat certain foods. She was, visiting different holistic doctors. I think she said she was getting some type of treatment where they were putting pins in her body. It was just a whole lot of things that she was doing to try to get the toxins out of her body and do things as natural as she could. And, at this point now, she's at stage 4 and she is just having to kind of live with that decision that she made. Again, right to the self-determination. It was her choice not to have aggressive treatment in the beginning. And here in America, that is one of the beautiful benefits of being in America is to be able to have the freedom of speech and be able to have the freedom to, be able to be who you are. Those are some of the beautiful things that are about America. But like I said, that segues into when I talk about reproductive, the controversy we have going back and forth about people governing our bodies, our bodies. And I love to say, raise your hand if you have a uterus. If you don't have a uterus, you should be making a choice. But I digress. I digress. So, that's her situation is unfortunate, but I hope that others that read into her story, hear her story, will take note and make some decisions or give it some thought and try to put themselves in her shoes and think about how would they move forward in that. Do you know how daunting that has to be for her to be in that space now, with the stage 4? And like I said, the double mastectomy is off the table. She can't have that now. And so now, you just kind of got to take it as it comes. I think she even talked about having her lymph nodes swelling up. She was like in a lot of pain. And this was after like a bone scan that she had. And I think they was trying to see had it metastasized and spread to her bones. But she said after she had that scan, excruciating pain. She was in a lot of pain. And another breast cancer survivor that was on the show talked about having that same scan and how she was in pain as well. So it's hard, it's hard. It's hard, but at the same time, it's her choice. So, like I said before, self-determination, that is the process, which is a person's right to control their own life. So if that's what she chose to do, we have to respect that. We have to respect that. And we have to also know and be aware of what it is that we want to do with our lives when it comes to our health. I feel like you only get one body. You have to take care of it. If you take care of your body, it'll take care of you. Hence, like I told you guys last week, pick out 3 things that you want to work on, and that was going to be your goal for the end of the week. And like I said, one of mine was working out every day. I have recently stopped eating like beef and pork. I love bacon. I love bacon. I love ham. And it wasn't anything that I was like I got sick from it or anything, but it was just like let me just try to eliminate some things and see how my body responds to not having those things in my system. And I've actually felt really good. Now, I'm not down in beef or pork, and I'm not saying I will never go back to, eat me a bacon, some bacon on a burger. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is making subtle changes and taking control of your health and being more focused on your health journey, I think is productive. I think that's productive for you. Now, another topic that And if you have if you have any questions or anything you want to say, please drop them in the comments. I'll come back to them. We were talking about those who just joined. We were talking about Ananda Lewis, who was the VJ for MTV. She was a BET personality. She also was on Teen Summit. I remember her for Teen Summit and her diagnosis of stage 4 breast cancer. So I kind of just talked about, how she discovered a lump in her breast. I think she said it was like 6 years ago, and she was confronted with, having like aggressive treatment, having a double mastectomy. She declined doing any of that, and was trying to do holistic treatment and care in order to try to manage it herself, to get rid of all the negative things in her life, the toxins in her body. That was her approach. And I was saying that was her choice. We have to respect her choice. That's what she wanted to do. And although she may feel a little different now, that was her choice of what she wanted to do. And so now she has elected to try to move forward with her life with what she's been given. And she was in pretty good spirits. She was in pretty good spirits when in these interviews that she's been in. If you scroll social media, type in her name, you'll see various interviews that she's doing with a lot of people. I think that spreading the word and having those conversations is great. I think it's great. And I think it'll stimulate a lot of conversation among women, and not just women, but men as well, because yes, men can get breast cancer as well. So for those that are just joining, I'm gonna say this again about this product. So Arido is a product. If you're wondering what I'm mashing in my hand, Arido is like Play-Doh. It feels like Play-Doh, but it's a replacement, I say, for like those stress balls that we would use, like they would give you at work or different little events, little health fairs and stuff you go to. They give you a stress ball, but this kind of replaces it. It's Play-Doh, and it actually smells like spearmint. If you go to Arido on Instagram, you can order some. I have no buy-in to that. I met this young lady at Fearless Fun a few years ago. I love the idea and the concept. I purchased a couple of them, gave them to a couple of people. I just think it's a wonderful product. I just wanted to share it with you guys. So another topic I want to talk about is Trina was on the Tamara Hall show, and she talked about the passing of her mother, Trina, the Diamond Princess from Miami. Yeah, she was talking about the passing of her mother and how she had such a difficult time moving through life without her mom, because she was so codependent on her mom. Her mom was her biggest cheerleader. She talked to her mom 3-4 times a day. They were really, really, really close. And she talked about how that grief just took over her, and it was almost paralyzing, where she could not grasp how she would move forward in life without her. And you hear people say all the time that time heals all wounds, it'll get better, it's going to be okay. And I know people don't know what to say. People don't know what to say when you experience a loss, especially a big loss, a close loss, like a parent or a cousin or a dear friend, whomever. It's difficult for people to try to come up with words, but the reality is it don't go away. It's more so of you learn how to adjust your life and live without them. And that's kind of what she was saying in a nutshell, that she had to adjust her life and learn how to live without her mom, and that was very difficult. And people have an issue with that because they feel like they're forgetting that loved one, or they feel like they're not honoring that loved one if they don't grieve a certain type of way. But grief looks different for everyone. And grief comes at any time. It can be a smell, it can be a TV show, it can be a song, it can be somebody that you saw in a crowd that may have resembled your loved one. It can be any of those things. And some days you're good, and some days you're not good. And so we have to normalize that. We have to normalize that it's okay for us to sit in our grief. We have to normalize that, having those conversations about what you're feeling and what you're processing during that time of grief that you're grieving. So she talked about that, and it was very touching to me because, I know it was very difficult for her to try to move forward. And, in an entertainment world, you don't really trust a lot of people. It's a lot of things that take place there. And I'm sure she probably shared a lot of things with her mom. Her mom probably helped her navigate that for so long. And now she doesn't have that. And so still being in that arena and navigating through life, just period, without her mom could, very much so be a huge challenge for her. What do you guys think about grief? Yes, I see one of the listeners said that she lost her mom in 2017 and she feel like her death has made her life so much harder to not have her mom to call. I cannot imagine what that feels like. I lost my grandmother in 2018. And, it's just subtle things that will put you in a mood or put you in a place where you go from angry, you go from denial, you go from just different things, different feelings at different times. And we can be clinical. I can be clinical as I can, but at the end of the day, you miss your mom, you miss your loved one, you miss them when they're gone. And we try to find a way to try to compensate for that. But nobody in that then ever feels that void. But I feel like when people feel like that and it's just not a good day or not a good time, it's okay to say it. It's okay to say, you know what, this is not a good time. I don't want to talk right now. Or you can say, hey, I want to talk about why I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like this because this is a hard day for me. I wish I could pick up the phone and call my mom. I wish I could, go and see my mom, especially during the holidays. Like I talked about seasonal depression um, on one of these platforms because I got two of them going today, but I talked about it. Seasonal depression comes about because of the time is changing. It's get darker sooner, longer nights, shorter days. The weather's changing, and so does our mood. And now we're going into the holiday season. And in the holiday season, it gets tough for a lot of people. And everybody's all chipper and happy, and it's Christmas time, and I always try to be cognitive too. Now, of course, people don't want you to feel sorry for them, but you have to also be very aware, what I'm saying, that everyone is on their own personal walk and you don't know how people feel at a particular time. So just be kind. Just be kind. What did Tabitha Brown, she says, don't go messing up nobody else's day. Just be kind. Be, gentle to people that are around you. We're all fighting our own personal battles. So I also want to talk about not only that situation with Ananda Lewis and self-determination. I want to talk about what are you all working on in this last quarter of the year? What are some goals that you all are working on? Some people shared with me that they're working on their health. Some people working on their business. Some people working on different things, various things in this last quarter of the year. So if you want to drop in the comments some of the things you're working on, you definitely can do so. We could talk about it, whatever. For those that are just coming on, I am turning my head like this because I'm streaming on YouTube because there was a lot of people that wanted to get on that did not have Instagram. So I got YouTube up so they could see it live. And I'm streaming on my phone here with Instagram. And if you was on my first live, I talked about how I had such a hard time trying to stream everything at one time. And I downloaded this program, and I thought downloading this program would afford me the opportunity to be able to stream from one platform to everybody. But y'all, it wasn't working for you, girl. It wasn't working. My computer crashed. It was ugly. It was awful. It was awful. So this week, my kids were on fall break and I had them trying to help me figure it out. And then it came to me, you know what? Let's stream from both things at the same time. So if you see me turning my head, that's what I'm doing because I have YouTube up here and then I have you guys on Instagram. And I'm just so glad. I'm so glad for everyone that has come on and that supported me because this is maybe this is my fifth live. I think it's maybe my fifth live. So we're trying to keep it going. We're trying to keep it going. Okay, working on my business health and learning how to love me again. Oh, yes. Yes, let's come on with it. Come on. Working on yourself is a job. It's different layers, that we have to keep pulling back. I was having a conversation with someone about, life in your teens, then your 20s, then your 30s, then your 40s. That's about as far as I can go because I ain't in my 50s. But, it's so much different. But I am learning to respect the 40s. I'm learning to respect the 40s and what comes with it because it seems like in the 40s, it seems like you can't go back. You don't have nowhere to go before. You're kind of like in between. So I feel like the life experiences that I've had and I've experienced has made me, of course, who I am today. But it also makes me think really hard about things. Nobody prepares you for this phase of life. You got friends that are dying. You got friends' parents, they're taking care of their parents are sick or they're dying. You got people losing their jobs, people that got married when we was in our 20s, again, divorces. No one prepared you to navigate this part of life, No one, prepares you for that. But it's a real thing, But I respect the 40s because I feel like it's a time of renewal. I feel like it's a time of evaluation, figuring it out, getting it together. That last before we coast on into our 50s and 60s and 70s. I think that, working on a business is a great idea. I encourage entrepreneurship. I started my business 2014. I did not know what I was doing. I just had this notion to want to bring women together, talk to them and encourage them and celebrate them. I wanted to celebrate them. I actually was doing for them what I wish someone was doing for myself. And so I put on this first conference, and it was a Mardi Gras conference. We had these topics that we talked about, things that are not often talked about. We talked about those things, the unhappily ever after, because life doesn't always pan out the way we want it to be. We talked about tranquil bliss, when we, living in tranquil bliss, your well-being, and we talked about living life out loud. That was the first conference, and so many people turned out, and it just caught fire. And every year, it just kept growing and growing and growing. Now, I know that there are some people out there doing harm with the empowerment conferences. I know. I have heard the horror stories of people saying they have these women conferences, these things they come to, brunches or whatever, and they go there. It's catty. It's not welcoming. It's not therapeutic to them. It's like, people sit down at the table with you. They don't even speak. It's supposed to be networking. There's no networking. I've heard those horror stories. I've even been to some. So I understand. But Martin Girl movement was not there. Oh no, if you attended the Martin Girl event, you knew it was nothing like that. It was a space to be seen. It was a space that I shared a platform with everyone. It was a space to not only educate, but it was to empower, and it was to motivate people. So many people branched out from that and developed their own businesses, started focusing more on their health, started having more conversations. We talked about HIV/AIDS awareness, and we talked about hepatitis C. We talked about your mental health. We brought in other agencies that would come in and talk about those things. And it was just wonderful. It was wonderful. And so as it kept growing and it kept getting bigger, your girl was drowning because I was a one-woman show, By the last one that I did in 2018, I had got some other people that was volunteering, that was helping, and we carried it out, and it was great. Girl, we had Thelma from Good Times. Her agent reached out to me. She wanted to come to my conference. Can y'all believe that? I had Latrice Crawford. Shout out Latrice Crawford, gospel singer. She came to one of my conferences. It was just getting big. It was getting big. But I say all this to say, do it. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. If you got an idea, if you got a business idea, do it. Write it down, play it out. I wasn't prepared either. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't have no money. I wasn't even working at the time. I didn't have no money. I wasn't working. I had 2 small kids. And I was in a city that I knew absolutely nobody. But that's kind of redundant because I kind of be moving around to places I don't know nobody. But anyway, I was in a city I didn't know people. But I was given this thought, and I wanted this thought to come into fruition. And so I did whatever I needed to do to make it happen. And it happened. And so from that, it brought so many other opportunities. And I haven't had a conference since then, but I think I feel one brewing. In my spirit a little bit. But, so many other connections, so many other things came from that I'm so proud of, It just was dope. It just was dope. Do it. Whatever your business idea is. Health. Take care. It's never too late. It's never too late to take care of your health. Focus on your health. Especially, that's another thing in them 40s. Now, I'm gonna back it up. In those 30s, you start seeing some little stuff going on with your body that you weren't used to. So we have to get ahead of that thing. We have to start making some good, wise choices. We got to start getting our sleep. We got to start moving. We got to start drinking this water on a regular basis. We got to start doing this. We got to start talking positive about ourselves. We got to take care of our well-being, a state of being happy, content, and that looks different for everybody. But those are the things that we have to do to take care of ourselves and learning how to get back to yourself and who you are in this era. Because who I was in my 20s and who I was in my 30s is not who I am at my age that I am now in my 40s. And I am happy. I am happy. I see the growth. I see the growth. I'm proud of the growth and I welcome it. So do it, do it, do it, do it. Now, another product last week, I had showed this body glaze, and one of my friends was like, you could have shown that body glaze again, and you might could have gotten, a hit from Canvas Beauty. Shout out to Canvas Beauty. This is the body glaze, the cute what is it? Cucumber melon. So it's supposed to be like cucumber melon. It smells good. I got a whole lot of these for Mother's Day. You see, I have used it. I got a lot of these for Mother's Day last year, and they are very good. Canvas Beauty. You can follow her. Again, I don't have nobody in. I'm just showing you some of my favorite things. But Canvas Beauty, you can follow her, order you some. It is a strong smell. Somebody was asking me about the smell. It is a strong smell, but it's not too overpowering for me. Some people might think it's a little bit overpowering, but you can always grease that out, with like some Vaseline or something that doesn't have a scent in it. But it's very thick and it leaves a good glisten on you. I don't know if you can see it about, but it's very thick. It's very thick and it leaves a really good shine. See that? It leaves a really good shine. And you can rub it in and it's not, it doesn't leave that like greasy like residue. So that's a good thing. You know what? I got some comments about the live I did about Kurt Franklin and them too. Some people were really intrigued by that conversation, and I'm glad. I'm glad because I like having those types of open discussions, and it encourages me to kind of keep going, to keep the lives going and having these conversations. Because on Sunday nights we're getting ready for the week. We're getting ready for the week. We're getting ready for whatever's coming our way. So why not have a little quick chat and a little kiki in the meantime? So I did this reel about this Prosecco. This is Prosecco, and it is by Issa Rae. Here it is. I found this one in Target, and Vare is the name of it. I think that's how you pronounce it, Vare. But it was in Target. I wanted to taste it. I said that I was going to do it on my live and let you guys know how it was. I already popped the top. And so let's see. Y'all like my Barbie glass? Y'all like my Barbie glass? Mm. You know what? It's not as dry. It's not as dry as I thought it was going to be. So it's I taste a little bit of fruitiness in there, but not too much. It's not overpowering and strong. So it's good. I give it an 8. I give it an 8, 7, 8. I give it a 7, 8. So try it. Give it a try. It's good. It's straight. I'm not a big heavy, wine drinker or drinker like that. But occasionally if I want to pop a bottle, I will drink something that's nice and light. And it's kind of nice and light. So try that. Check it out. Check it out. So just want to recap for those that are just joining. We talked tonight about Ananda Lewis, and we talked about her diagnosis. We talked about our thoughts and feelings surrounding self-determination, the right to be able to make your own choices and be comfortable in that, and how we have to respect that, right? We also talked about grief a little bit there, especially going into this season, normalizing grief, normalizing feeling how we're feeling and being vocal about it. And we talked about businesses, starting businesses, being intentional, basically, is what it is, and doing what it is that you want to set out to do in this life. That's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. And so, I don't want to hold you guys long tonight on the live because I think we've been on here for probably about 40 minutes or so. But I just want to jump on, talk a little bit about that because that's something that we want to talk about. And then I kind of want to hear from you guys to see what you guys, your thoughts were, what you felt about it. And you still can leave comments. Even after the live is over, you can leave comments. I thank each of you for coming on and joining my live and hanging with your girl for a minute. I hope you guys check out some of the products just in case. Just in case you see again. I don't have a buy-in, but I just like to promote people. Black owned Aerido is the one that I showed you guys. Of course, you have B-Ray, the wine that you can get. And then I showed these products that was pertaining to my hair because people asked me about my hair. And so these are some of the products with the dudes. You can follow her online as well. And you can't forget Old Faithful. Can't forget Old Faithful. The oil that I put on my hair. And then I showed you some body glaze. And I showed you the cucumber one, but I also had like an orange sickle one as well. So with the winter time coming up, you're going to need this. You're going to need it now. You're going to need it with the winter coming up. You're going to need this on your dry skin. So make sure you check those things out. Again, thank you so much for coming on and listening to my live. Tell a friend to download Conversation with the Modern Girl. That's my podcast. I usually push those out every other week, if not weekly. Great conversations, just randomly thinking, randomly talking, randomly encouraging, randomly spiritual. So go check it out. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to download it and subscribe. Y'all can subscribe to it. You know what I'm saying? To help your girl out. Keep me motivated. Subscribe to it. Make me feel like I'm doing something. Come on. So make sure you check that out. And I look forward to chatting with you guys again. Thank you so much.